So let's just say that you're new to audiophilia and to music listening, or at least to this high-end part of music listening where you enjoy better sounding earphones and headphones, and you just don't want to carry a strong source with you every single time you go outdoors. Today's video is about Shanling UP5, a Bluetooth receiver that is pretty similar to FIO BTR5, but this one is actually better in every single way possible. It is also more pricey, priced at $180. So let's see what Shanling designed with their UP5. It's not every single day that I get excited about a Bluetooth receiver. Most of the times those are just entry-level devices made for those who don't want to carry a stronger source with them. I typically use a high-end DAC like iBass DX320 or Astel NSA180, so it was surprising for me to see that Shanling, out of all companies, designed such a good sounding portable USB receiver. This is basically a DAC/headphone amplifier. You can actually use it as a DAC/headphone amplifier for the computer. If you connect the cable to its Type-C port, it has two DACs inside, both ASS, and it has three headphone outputs at the top. We have a single-ended 3.5mm output, we have a balanced 4.4mm headphone output, and a 2.5mm balanced out. The unit is actually better looking without the case, but you will need the case if you want to clip it to basically anything. While few thought of it like clipping it to a shirt or such with their plastic clip, Shanling included this type of flap, which you are supposed to clip to a belt usually. Once you turn on UP5, it enters pairing mode, and as you can see from the video, the display is not quite that easily visible. This has been my main concern with it. Everything else has been pretty much excellent, but the display is quite dim in practice. So I have to struggle to see it even in my studio conditions. Outdoors, it is even less visible. It is an OLED display though. On a camera, you will see that it has a bit of flicker. This happens because the OLED technology always has some kind of flicker. The only thing that changes between different OLED displays is the frequency at which they flicker, but they always have a bit of flicker. This is because they use pulse width modulation to control the brightness. We have 64 steps of volume on the UP5, and those will be enough to control the volume for both EMs and headphones. The first 30 steps would be for EMs and the next 30 steps would be for headphones usually. I prefer listening at medium to loud volumes because I listen to music that has a ton of dynamics, explosions, impact like rock, metal, greencore and aggressive music. But UP5 is great for driving EMs too. As this question has been brought up a lot in my FIO BTR5 video, with Shanling UP5 you have a little microphone here at the top. So if you take a phone call or if you are using EMs, it will not use the microphone on the EMs. In my experience, it will use its own microphone. So you have to hold it next to your mouth for the person on the other end to hear you. So you will have EMs running from the headphone outputs to your ears or headphones, and then you will speak into the Shanling UP5 for your voice to get recorded. It has a good phone quality, but it is not the main purpose for its creation. So I don't think you should get it if you really need a good phone quality, because this microphone doesn't have a lot of noise rejection. So if you are brushing your Shanling UP5, it will get transferred to the person on the other end. Connection is pretty much flawless. You don't have to worry about it. It stays connected very well. But if you are using it for a phone call, the maximum volume is capped at 32 out of 64. So basically it only can go as only half of its maximum volume. If you are using a pair of headphones that is hard to drive, this may come into play. I had an outstanding experience with its connection. I was able to just use it, not worry about it getting disconnected. I was able to use it while jogging, while running, and while doing other strenuous physical exercises. I was able to use it with both headphones and EMs, but in my experience, it doesn't have a very high driving power. So for headphones like the HiFiMan HA1000 version 2, which I have in the back on the speakers there, I think that it is not quite enough. So it will be better for either IEMs or in-ear monitors or earphones or portables than it is for full-sized headphones. On the other hand, the sound is quite beautiful. It has a very controlled, very natural type of sound, very good soundstage. It has that holographic feeling to its soundstage. I didn't even remove those stickers on it because I'm not quite sure if it has any protection applied and I don't want to scratch it. Shanling UP5 has a higher price than FioBTR5. I mean, quite a considerably higher price. But I think that it has a better sonic quality, it has a better overall resolution, better detail, and it has a wider soundstage and a more natural sound. Comparing them, going between them from FioBTR5 to Shanling UP5, I think that Shanling UP5 has much better overall control. So with FioBTR5, if you bring it to its maximum volume, it will distort a bit compared to Shanling UP5, which has better control. Also, it tends to have better dynamics, especially with music that is supposed to be dynamic, like rock and metal. You will notice that Shanling UP5 creates the feeling of realism much better. It is much more vivid and much more realistic. If you play an instrument, you will notice that instantly. I just picked up playing guitar, thanks to my girlfriend Haru, and she brought me a little guitar. Let me bring it to you. So I would be able to give you the experience of someone who is playing an instrument, not just someone who is a music listener. I would say that UP5 is better than FioBTR5 at creating the feeling of realism, that's creating a feeling of both depth and width. Everything just sounds more natural in the positioning, and it has better instrument separation. And once again, the better resolution helps a lot if your song is complex and if there are many micro details that would otherwise not get transposed and exposed so easily by a more entry-level product like FioBTR5 or FioBTR3K. I also like the fact that it comes with its own leather casing, but I do think that the clip mechanism on the case is not quite as useful as the one on BTR5 was. I would say though that for Shanling, it is a much better way of not getting many of those sent back because someone just had them clipped to their shirt, it fell and it broke. So I do think that they did this mechanism to avoid that situation in particular, because with a glass front, a glass back, and a metallic body, it isn't quite as light as FioBTR5, but it is just as sensitive to drops and to being damaged. If you are looking for more information on its sound and about its sonic performance, I really hope you will be reading the full written review. I will most probably leave a link in the video description or in the comments with the full written review, where I take more time to explore the sonic performance and I try to give you a more in-depth look at it. My videos are me trying to be an enjoyable host and to give you a perspective about the entire product and my honest raw feelings. In my honest feelings, I do think that it is entirely worth its asking price when it comes to its sonic performance. It has LDAC, it has aptX, even aptX low latency. I could not detect its Bluetooth latency, so I was able to use it while playing games or while watching movies without noticing the lip sync getting out of sync. This makes the Shanling UP5 a very good option for those who are limited on the budget, who don't want to carry a DAC or a digital audio player with them, but who want to have a high quality audio. The entire point of those Bluetooth receivers has always been convenience. They are convenient to use. I mean, to me, it's very convenient. I would grab this, plug in some headphones, connect it to my smartphone. I have access to my Tidal collection. I have access to my entire playlist, and it's all so hassle-free compared to using a DAC. Usually DACs have some trouble connecting to Tidal. Most of them have some signal dropouts. Most of them have more limited memory, while my smartphone is much faster at loading Tidal playlists. So I hope that today's video has been enjoyable to watch. I hope you'll consider watching other videos, subscribing to Audiophile Heaven, and leaving a like on this video. If you have a dime to spare, I have a PayPal link in the video description. That would help me improve my entire studio, my entire setup, and to get you better content. I thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, you are the heroes for being here today with me. Thank you, and I hope we'll see each other really soon. Bye bye.